Oh, that's a good one.
Boom! Is Case wearing high heels? Hey, everyone.
What was
Welcome
that?
back. It is.
Tap shoes.
I don't know
Tap
what that
shoes.
was.
Yeah.
This is episode 48, the Stephen Davis episode. I believe a former star running back of Team Jeff Innes. We'll see if he can confirm that after the fact. Feels like a guy Innes would have had. It's Thursday night. We got Chiefs, we got Chargers, we got picks, we got previews, and we got good friends. As always, this is Mike, my numero uno, Pete. Happy Thursday, buddy.
Yeah, you number one. I'm going to be your number one loss this week.
I hope so, Pete. Speaking of number one loss, Steve, you really seem to ruin Innes' season. Let's see if you can continue that streak this week. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Mike. Happy to be back in the pod.
Steve, I got to say,
Yeah.
great energy right
Your
there.
TV is excessively loud, though.
It's Thursday night. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
that is true. Your TV is louder than I think you realize right now.
Volume is
Oh.
off.
Do you have every single light? Is every single light in your basement on right now?
It's all on
It's like a
one switch.
tanning booth.
He's got solar. He's good. He's
Yeah,
got
he's
solar.
I do. That's a good point, Case. I do.
Speaking of a guy who could use better lighting, our number 4 tonight, Case. Don't bite your fingernails. Is unhealthy. How you doing tonight, Brian?
He's
The rest
nervous.
of my dinner.
Seems it.
Yeah, should be biting them.
He seems it. He seems it. All right, guys. We've got Thursday night. We got a lot in the agenda tonight. We got a slightly different format we're going to preview for everybody. So we'll see how it goes. DeVito is ready. Steve, ready?
I'm jacked, Mike.
All right,
I'm really
Pete.
excited.
Anything you want to tee us up about, or should we get into the previews there, Pete?
No, I'm fine. Let's go ahead. Which one we start with?
Do you want to click a fun sound effect to tee off the game of the week?
It's time!
That's that
Was it not Vader time?
good. No, that was
Buffer.
Buffer.
That's the guy that does the
I thought you were
Buffer.
going to do Vader time.
oh my
Buffer.
Oh, I'll get Vader on here.
I know who it was. I was
Thank
hoping it was
you.
Big Van Vader. So game of the week, technically by all the logic that we usually use to determine game of the week, this wouldn't be the game of the week. But hey, when you're the two guys who started the greatest innovation,
Yep.
Can I try that again? If you're the two guys
No,
who
we're
have
gonna
the
have
best
to record
innovation of the league,
Runter
Pete,
Renfrow.
it's you and me, buddy. It's Pete. It's you and me, Pete. The
So
game
you guys know
of
that
the
I'm a big Hunter Renfrow fan, right? Ruh-roh.
It's a new guy in the league.
Here we go, Pete. All right, so we got game of the week. We're doing this different, everyone. Usually Pete does the starting lineup, gives his preview. We're going to end with Pete. So before we get to Pete, we're going to hear an analysis on the game. Steve,
Ready to roll.
you're the Johnny
So,
Damon of the
start with our-
podcast. So, Steve, who are the key matchups to this game? Let's hear your take, and we'll discuss as a group and make our picks before we turn to DeLuca.
So let's start with injuries in this one. Mike, your two key injuries here, Julio and Swift. Both guys are questionable. Looks like Jones is going to play. Swift, however, is really, really on the iffy side of playing.
Okay.
Might play,
Right?
possibly playing,
Okay.
don't know.
Questionable.
Yes, very, very questionable. Here are my key matchups. Cooks, Barkley, and Hill for you, Mike.
Yep.
Tough matchups. Cooks with Denver and Surtain.
Yep.
Barkley, can he bounce back and do it again? And Tyreek Hill at Baltimore. On
Okay.
the road with Tua. That's a tough one for you.
Okay.
For Pete, can Devonta Smith put up a point this week?
Oh,
And his, again, we're going to go to the Miami matchup.
That's a low
In his
blow.
Miami matchup, Lamar Jackson and Andrews got to come through for him in this one for him to have a good week. That's my key matchup. In this
All right. Steve, how'd that feel?
Felt great.
wow, that's pretty good.
You seem a little nervous. You nervous?
Right, it was good.
Dude, you were
I got
leading.
my
You
notes.
were leading, Steve. You were leading off, dude. You had like the money spot.
I liked it. He did good.
He had the,
I thought it was
the
good,
pencil
Steve.
pointing and everything. It was good. Good prop.
East of the
I
wheel.
even
pencil?
got Luca's pencil from his desk downstairs here that I was going with. I don't even know what this is. Looks like eyeballs.
It looks like Halloween
Good
eyeballs.
prop.
And your camera
All right,
didn't
so
go out of
Case-
focus like Kaleli's does. That's pretty good.
Steve, do you want to make your pick, or you want to circle back to your pick?
Oh, let's come back.
Case, DeVito just gave us some nice analysis on the game. What is your take on who you like in this matchup? Are there matchups you're more worried about than not? And how are you going to follow up Steve's excellent statistical breakdown.
So you guys know that I'm a big Hunter Renfrow fan, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, but go ahead. Though.
We do, Brian. Wrong game, Brian. Wrong game, Brian. Wrong game.
Go ahead.
I actually have a follow-up question to Pete. Pete, have you considered playing Cousins this week?
No.
No? Okay, interesting. I was curious if you'd have the stones to do it, honestly, because Brady's track record with the Saints and Lamar is Miami dud previously, so I was curious if that was a play this week. I like Kaleli this week. I think he's still healthy enough. I don't think last week was a fluke with the star power, and all those big guns are still healthy. The only way I could see this getting tight would be if Kyler to Hollywood is a big connection this week that kind of P's able to vulture a little bit, but I'm taking the chosen ones.
Pete, do you have a double stack bring back right now?
That would be no.
No.
I don't have any Dolphins.
No. I have a double stack bring back. I have Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I need Tyreek Hill to complete that. Anyway.
Do you worry about the double stack bring back?
No, not at all.
All right. Well, Pete, my first and only question, you're obviously going to start Lamar. You're going to the game. You got the stack. Like, no kidding. Bad question by case. Is this your lineup?
Oh, no.
What are your – because there's also not my lineup either. So who are your flex positions and what are you weighing?
Truthfully, I haven't had a good chance to look at the roster. I've been a little busy with sound effects, as you can tell. So, but there was, I weighed my priorities this week because I'm not very confident in my team this week. But I think Robbie Anderson, I put my bench in order of guys that I would start. So Robbie Anderson would be the first priority, then Shepard, then Myers. So I'm just kind of looking down the list. If I don't really feel good about Lockett, I might sub him in and out. But again, I don't want to. I can go into my pick a little bit deeper, but I don't really think it matters. You want me to go? Right. I can start.
No, I haven't done any analysis on my side either. So
Well, the hell with my matchups then.
Yeah, jeez. DeVito, you're throwing us off.
I'm going there right now, Steve. I appreciate Steve's injury analysis. I would mind more, Steve, believe it or not, if Julio was out than Swift was out. Obviously, I want to play Smith, but having Williams, I can kind of sub them in and I can sub them out. My matchup is not set because the Julio question mark and the Brandon Cooks, I'm actually a little worried about that game. I don't like really big road underdogs against good secondaries. And I'm contemplating, depending on, I was actually interested in getting your take on Higgins when we get to your game, that I could actually see myself playing Tyler Boyd instead of playing Brandon Cooks if Higgins isn't out, because I like that game. Yeah.
Just got an update on Julio Jones.
Whoa.
Literally just popped through.
Pop through what? Like, what do you have? What do you?
Relax.
This is
what's your what's your source?
Diane
So
Rossini.
his knee injury.
Sorry.
Is there better breaking news? It could be a better break.
Breaking news.
What else can we do?
His knee injury.
Sorry.
His knee injury could prompt them to get an MRI tomorrow.
Ooh.
That's okay. I'm cool. If Julio's out, I'll play Tyler Boyd. I like myself. I like my team. I think I'm a great guy. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm a great guy. I'm going to pick myself. I'll pick myself. I like my team. I like my matchups. Pete's got a couple question marks at the bottom of that roster I would be a little worried about. So I like getting them now. I'll take it. Steve, who's your pick? Then we'll end it with Pete.
I know this is going to come to a shock to a lot of people. But I'm going to take Pete in my upset of the week.
Yeah.
I'm really, really nervous. I'm really nervous about the potential injuries here and a couple of matchups that might catch.
Oh, it's your upset.
I just solved it, though. I gave you my answer to it. If Swift is out, I'll play Williams, and if Jones is out, I'll play Boyd. You didn't like that answer? It feels like it was bad.
No, because Higgins is going to play.
Doesn't matter what you're going to say, Mike.
It doesn't matter what you'd say.
All right, Pete, let's end it up. It was a little backwards. We'll see what the fans think about it.
Did you say you're playing Tony?
No, I don't know if I'm going to play it.
Oh, okay, because he's got a hamstring injury. So
he always has a hamstring injury. You and him have the weakest hamstrings in the biz. Go ahead, Pete.
You got a great hamstring.
All right. Whoa. I don't like doing this last. I was
gonna say you feel a little out of flow right now, Pete.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. It's terrible.
All right, we'll go back to you first, then we'll kick it over to DeVito after that. I need you more engaged. You were very overwhelmed by waiting till the end of the preview. That's okay though. Go ahead.
I wanted to go. All right, I'm 4-1 against Mike in the last 5 years. Our last game was 197-108, week 7. Boom by me.
Get out of here! You're 4-1 against me in my last
4
5.
and
I
2
wish
in the
I
last
knew
5
that.
Golly.
See, all right, I'm going for a
Don't worry,
spread.
Brian. Don't worry.
Enough of that experiment. This will be the only the second time Mike and I play each other twice in a season in the last 5 years.
How cute.
The other time that we did it was 2019 when I swept you on the way to my title. Week 1. Let's talk about week 1s for both of our teams in the last 10 years. Okay, so just take the week 1s, me and you.
This is week 2. You mean the first time we played?
No. I want to talk about both of our teams, week 1s, what we did, and how we reacted after that. Okay.
Poorly. Okay.
So in the last 10 years, I was 7-3 in week 1s. That included winning 6 out of the last 7 week 1s. I was untouchable until what's his face stomped me, Breen. Mike, you were 4-6 in week 1s in your last 10 10 years. But in the years that you won the first game, that was 2021 and 2019, you went on to go 4-1 in a 5-game start in the 5-game start.
Got it.
Isn't that crazy? I was like, oh. So
I like that.
when you win the first game, what I'm trying to say is when you win the first game, you get very hot. Except for in 2010 when you started 0-2, you didn't hit 100 points in either week, and you went on to win the Super Bowl. So who knows?
Best year of my life. 2010.
I'm kind of thrown by all the info that was mentioned, but we have a lot of players in the same game, so I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Miami and Baltimore is a game that I think is going to be very interesting, so I'm going to go to that game.
Bad luck.
Yeah, I know. I don't think I've gone to a game where a team has won in quite some time, but I do go to a lot of Orioles games. What? When Mike wins the first game, he gets hot for the season, so I'm going to pick Mike, and no superlatives. I'm just picking you.
Yeah, I didn't think of superlatives either. Steve's on his own Pete Island there. Pete, welcome back. Great to have you in the episode. It took you a few minutes to get rolling. Do you want to give a sound effect or a good sound effect? Speaking of a dial tone, the last time I used a dial tone was the last time this kid was engaged for a whole season in fantasy football. Andy Divitto, second game of the week, taking on Brian Casey, the only game between two 1-0 squads. I will make a disclaimer before we make our picks on this game. If anyone tries to claim this is an upset pick, they're disqualified from picks for the season. Case, write that down.
Got it.
Oh, yeah?
Pete.
Screw you guys.
All right.
Pete, we're leading with you.
Oh, yeah? Well, screw you guys. I'm going home.
All right.
This is too much, dude. Innes is not gonna listen.
No,
to
Innes is
this
gonna
anymore,
hate
dude.
this. Innes is gonna absolutely hate this. Sorry, Jeff.
Oh,
All right. Casey's 5-2 against DeVita in the last 5 years. Their last matchup was a 167-120 beatdown by Casey in Week 11 of last season. Casey has won 3 straight over DeVita. This is cheating because I wrote this 5 minutes ago, but with the way the Chargers are struggling, I think it's going to be tough for Casey. As a Baltimore local, not native, local, I guess I want to say I really like Duvernay. I didn't like him enough to make a waiver claim on him, but I do think that that's a strong ad, and I definitely think that would be a play that I would pin in over Waller. Just giving you a tip. You don't have to take it if you want, but I'm just saying. I know you like to play the cautious game. He was yellow. So DeVita's still in the window of being healthy and active, and I'm going to make a hot take that I think DeVita's going to start 4-0. So I'm going to take him. Andy.
All right, Pete, thanks for the preview. Andy's the first pick from this game. DeVito, let's see how quickly you have changed who you're picking in this game based off the first half of this Chargers-Chiefs game, and who are your key matchups?
well, the good thing is there are no injuries to report.
No
Either
cues.
team here in the starting lineup.
Ooh.
Nothing.
Cues.
No Q's. No O's. No D's.
It's amazing.
Just notebooks. Nothing else. So, in this game, my key matchups for Case.
Notebooks, because the thing next to them are notebooks. That's what that is? I never knew what that was. Notebook.
Notepad, notebook, whatever.
Look at that.
All right.
Steve, when we were in high school, were you a 3-ring? Were you a multi-ring? Were you a composite notebook?
What does that mean?
Like
What was
one
your-
subject. It was 1, 3, or 5, right?
What were you? Were you a 5? You were a 5-er.
I was a
He's
5.
a 5-star guy too.
Yeah,
5-star notebooks.
Yeah, big 5. Did you have a trapper
Trapper
keeper?
keeper. That's what I was thinking of.
I did.
Yeah, you'd love the trapper keeper.
Who
Big
did?
fan
I
of
was
Velcro.
I didn't.
individual notebook for each class. I don't know why.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I love composite notebooks. I always have. And mechanical pencils.
And I needed clear book covers so I could draw in the book, and the teacher could be like, and then you could be like, plastic.
Paper bags for me.
Oh, shots.
Oh, yeah, paper bags.
Big D?
Oh, yeah, I remember those. All right, sorry, Steve. Key matchups.
So for Case, here are my 3. Ezekiel Elliott, now with Dak out, it's going to put a lot more pressure on him.
Ooh.
Against Cincinnati, that's a tough game. Thielen, Philadelphia last week, gave up 35 to Detroit. And one of Case's guys, Amran, had a big day against Philly. Can he get Thielen to double up with Jefferson?
Hey, wait, Steve.
And
Steve, will he be Thielen, Adam Thielen, in 3?
in 3, Case's yellow man, Darren Waller. Darren Waller going to show up back home
I think
with
he
his
should
new
be-
contract.
I'm playing
Thank you,
Duvernay
man.
because Pete said so.
Andy.
Go ahead.
Smart move.
Pete, do the lick. Do the lick. You might as well. For Andy, Derrick Henry at home against Buffalo.
Ooh.
They struggled last week at home against the Giants. At Buffalo this week, the way that Buffalo played, I don't love Henry this week. You got to play him. You can't not play him. But I can see him struggling. Russell Wilson's got to have a bounce back at home. Got to have a good week for him. And Aaron Jones at home against Chicago has got to be better than a 50-50 split.
I like this. This is good.
Steve, I got to say, based off your analysis, I know who you're picking. But let me get Case's reaction before we come back to you, Steve.
You know what?
Case,
I
couple
like-
guys in your...
I like that. This is a good DeVito. You got 3. I like the format. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Yep, keeps him constrained.
I know
keeps
what's-
DeVito in the box a little bit.
talking.
Yeah, I know what's coming. I know what's
I
coming.
don't have a notebook. I just have my stickies.
Case, who on your team are you most concerned about at the moment? Stinky Chargers game, the Cowboys offense, Darren Waller in your starting lineup.
I'm most concerned about the Chargers. I actually thought that without Allen, that Eckler would get more receptions. It hasn't played out that way. There's been another player benefiting from his absence. I do think that if the Cowboys are going to go run heavy, now's the time. So I'd be interested to see if that actually finally pays out. The crazy thing about this game for me is I need to jump out early because if you look at Andy's games, it's either Kelsey tonight or the big dogs are coming in Monday night. So this comes down to me having a big enough cushion with Cook and Thielen against Diggs and Henry. And I think I need a cushion going into that game to feel good about it. For the first time ever, I'm picking against myself. I'm taking the Blue Bloods here in a win.
Whew.
No lock, no boom, no blowout, no upset. Just straight up pick them.
So Steve, let's get your pick. Based off what you were describing, I don't think you're going to boom out of this game, if I could read between the lines.
Go for it.
And I think you're picking DeVita, but you tell me who's your pick, and did I get your analysis correctly?
Great job, Mike. Like we've known each other a long time. You knew that. Spot on. DeVita's my pick as well. Sorry, Case.
I'm going to call it a clean sweep. I had DeVita winning before this game. I said at the beginning of the year, I don't think he's going to go 4-0, but I did think that DeVita was going to be a solid early team. I thought your key player on this one that I fully agree with, Steve. To me, it's Aaron Jones who's going to take DeVita over the top. Packers return to the winning circle. No, whatever. I'll take DeVita. Clean sweep. Sorry, Case. Any booms yet on the board for anybody?
The only thing we have right now is a DeLuca upset for DeVito.
DeVito upset of DeLuca.
DeLuca upset from DeVito.
From DeVito.
DeVito picked me up.
From DeVito.
Yeah.
DeVito picked you to upset. All right, well, let's see if we can get on the board by talking about DeVito. Next game of the week, the trade game. Very rarely do you see two teams trade with each other the week that they're playing, and DeVito appears to have gotten cursed by the big rides. But we'll hear that preview when we talk to DeVito about Kamara's availability this week. But Pete, give us the breakdown. Game 3, DeVito versus Innis.
All right, Jeff is 5-4 against Steve in the last 5 years. Their last game was a 170-105 boom for Innes. Innes has won 2 straight against Steve. He has a 56% winning percentage against Steve. He is the only teams that Jeff is more successful against are Lloyd and Divitto, and they don't count. So this is essentially his most successful guy. 2 interesting things happened in the NFL that I wanted to get your guys' opinion on.
Let's hear it, Pete.
And like actual NFL.
If you take DeVito's thunder, I boycott.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to. I feel bad.
Go for it.
All right, 2 things happened in the NFL that I thought were interesting. One was that the San Francisco 49ers signed Marlon Mack, and the other one was that the Saints signed Latavius Murray, or whatever his name is. And it's funny because I think that affects Kamara and Wilson, who Innes just spent $100 on. It might not like affect them now, but it might show like long term that the teams don't really have much faith in them. Anyway, I think Kittle's a better play than I don't know who you would sub Kittle in, but I think Kittle's a great play for you at some point. I think Kittle's a good play for you this week because the Seahawks lost their like starting safety or something like that. I don't know. I messed up the whole stat. Anyway,
Jamal Adams is out.
Oh yeah, that's his name. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this one up. I think DeVito has bench depth. I think Jeff will be better than last week. I think he's sold out for a week in week 2, and I think it's gonna go well this week. So I'm gonna take Jeff with the upset.
DeVito is furious.
Wants that love reciprocated.
I agree.
I'm sorry. I think maybe if you play Kittle, you'll have a good chance, but
Steve, before we get into the game, do you want to talk about this? Do you want to talk about this or
about Kittle? Well,
No,
Kittle's
just
not going
about
to play this week because of his groin.
just about the fact that your number one
Yeah, he's hurt.
has abandoned you? Like Case and I would never do this to each other ever.
Oh, jump high five.
I mean, I'm thinking
False advertising, Mike.
I'm just saying. All right, Steve, let's hear who your key matchups are. And I don't want you to talk about your key matchup, you and Pete. I meant on the football field. Who are your key matchups and who are Jeff's key matchups this week in the matchup?
Kaleli
were very
just
close.
picked DeVito.
I think I were very close on the football field. Potentially borderline
Just pick
inappropriate for the pod.
I think I picked against Case
And
literally
last
4
week
minutes
1, 2,
ago.
you did too. And
And last season. And
on
last
the
season.
and the
this
preview
season.
pod, you think my team stinks.
Well, as a friend, though.
Yeah.
As a friend, I would never abandon
You say it
you.
nicely.
Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead, Steve. I haven't picked Case in 2 years.
I would never do that to
Go
him.
ahead, Steve.
it's fantastic.
Go ahead, Steve.
Listen, it's going to be hard to break Pete and I up after our tight relationship in the falls at Milford High School. So don't worry, we'll be
No
just
cups allowed.
Just make your who are your three? Who are your three?
So
Go
here,
ahead
hold
with
on.
three.
Let's start with the
I'm
injuries.
the only one that can snap a ball.
Good point. It's a good point. So Kittle has a groin injury, hasn't practiced in the since this time last week. So if Kittle were to be healthy, yeah, he'd be in the lineup somewhere.
Oh, okay. All right, you're ahead of me.
Kamara practiced yesterday, and they said he looked just fine. And then today he sat out. So tomorrow's going to be a telltale as to what's going to happen. But it could also be a Veterans Day after practicing yesterday, Thursday, and
It's not Veterans Day this week.
No, like they give the veteran a day off.
Not on a Thursday, Steve.
Sure
I think
they
that's
do.
wishful thinking. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, T. Higgins missed practice today because of personal reasons.
I saw death in the family. Death in the family.
Really? You think?
So
No,
yeah,
I,
but they
I
said
was
that
listening to a podcast today. Death in the family.
Oh, okay.
he's been trending up. So I think Higgins is going to play, and I think Kamara is going to play too. I don't see either of them sitting. Duddy's injury this week. Harris with that injury that he had, I think he's fine. He's going to play, but his role could be limited just a little bit, and we won't discuss the rest of Duddy's injuries. The Milford Regional Injury Report. So here are my three key guys. CeeDee Lamb.
He's the only guy to...
What? So for Duddy, let's start with Duddy. CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Again, Cincinnati, tough, really good defense.
Go ahead.
Debo Samuel against Seattle, going to have a bounce back on a dry condition. And then Cordero Patterson switching teams. I want the credits to end first, and then I'll go.
Thank the Academy. Just thank the Academy.
I feel like Jim Valvano. They're telling me to hurry up, but I'm not going to stop.
Sorry.
All right.
On my squad, Stafford's going to have a bounce back. Devin Singletary, hopefully he is the lead guy this week after Moss and my new draft pick Cook fumble the ball.
Okay.
And can Kamara come out and be healthy? Those are my three for each.
You make your pick. You're on a roll. Make your pick, and then we'll let the case go. Who are you picking? You picking yourself, Steve?
Yes.
All right. Case. This one's a very interesting game for Jeff. We're on the verge of made a big trade, traded a first-round pick, traded Kamara. I'm not a sensationalist. Is this a lose or leave town for Duddy? And who's your pick?
No, I don't think Innis' roster is as lethal as it was a week ago, but I actually think it's still pretty good. I think Gabe Davis is a nice little hot streak right now, dating back to last year. I like Cordero early. I do think that Dallas is going to get CD touches in safer passing plays to take some pressure off the quarterback. And I mean, Divitto knows more than injuries than I do, but the Kamara Higgins thing, I don't know if they're a go. I don't like Singletary. I'm taking the Big Reds.
Oh, you got to call the upset.
It's not my upset.
I hope we don't have the same upset because that will never come true. This game is my lock of the
Mike,
week.
are you upsetting it?
No, it's my lock of the week. This
I
game.
thought we were going to do it together.
This is my lock of the week, and to me, it comes down to the car's locking. I was like, is that? I thought that was
That's
my
Pete
headphones.
locking his keys in the car again.
Battery's low over there, Mike.
I have the cord in, so I don't even have earbuds in. This comes down to the stack. This is the return of the stack. And if Pete had that song right now, we could play it. I'm taking Divitto as my lock of the week. I think Innis' team is in big trouble, and I don't really like a lot of his matchups. I'll take the stack. I'll take the Rams. I'll take the lock with Divitto. Does that give us 3-1?
2-2.
2-2.
2-2. Who picked? Oh, that's right. DeLuca abandoned. No, I forgot. No, I forgot. I forgot.
Pete jumped ship.
I didn't mean to bring it up, Steve. I'm sorry about that. Speaking of jump ship, though, great segue. Speaking of jump ship, let's talk about a guy who's jumped ship on this year and last year, and potentially next year, for all we know with the way he's drafted and performed. D'Adarian, fourth game of the week, and he's taking on Spates. Potato salad versus the mustard boy. Pete, give us the rundown.
All right. Christian is 4-2 against CJ in the last 5 years. Their last game was a pathetic 103-90 win for D'Adarian in Week 15 of 2021. With a 67% winning percentage, CJ is actually one of the most successful teams against Christian in the last 5 years. Spates unfortunately had the pleasure of being the highest scoring losing team in Week 1 when he got dunked on by Mike. 141 points by Spates is not unusual. He scored over that 6 times last year. Okay. And in those 6 games, he was 5-1. So this was a pretty tough loss for Spates. For Christian, 95 points last week. That was a low, but unfortunately not very rare. He scored under 100 points 4 times last year, including the 2 times he lost to Lloyd. Ugh. It looks like Michael Pittman might miss the game, but I'll let Steve talk about that. Offensive linemen are going to be back. What? Yeah, did you see that? Pretty amazing. All right.
Yep.
What a play.
Aaron Rodgers is going to have his offensive lineman back, so I think that's going to be a big boost for him, and he's playing Chicago that he owns. I'm going to pick Spates, and I'm going to pick him to make his first ever boom of the week. Spates, welcome to the club. Got to speed up the sound.
I'm going to Steve next to give us his 3 matchups. I just want to let you know, Pete, that I'm also about to pick Spates to boom. So a double boom from the Boom and Bash Brothers.
Oh, I got another one.
Right. Steve, let's get you on the board here. Give us your 3 most important matchups in each of these teams and a couple injury updates because there's some Qs on the board.
Ooh.
Yeah, so Fournette's got a Q, the hamstring issue, but he's going to play. Pittman is on the wrong side with a quad injury right now. Didn't practice again today. We'll see what happens with him tomorrow.
Hey, Steve, if someone told you had to miss a game and they said you have to have a quad issue, a hamstring issue, or a groin issue, which would you prefer?
What injury would I prefer?
Mm-hmm.
All right, quad.
Quad. All right, me too. Good.
No, I want the groin. I'm good. All right, so here are my 3 key matchups. CJ, Christian McCaffrey, got to wake up, play some ball.
Ooh.
Joe Mixon could blow up at Dallas this week because I could see them getting up early and getting that run game going. And Aaron Rodgers at home against Chicago. He usually dominates Chicago. Back at home after a dud, I could see him going off. For Christian, tough picking here. Javonte Williams got to have a big game against Houston for him. ETN has got to have more than 4 carries. And Allen Robinson has got to have more than 1 catch.
Amen.
Those are my 3.
Case, seemed like a lot of negativity towards D'Darian's chances. Do you feel similarly that it's a long road ahead, or do you feel like Christian D'Darian can take down Christian McCaffrey in his order?
I'm picking Spates for the first time in a long time. 2 firsts for me this week. I'm picking Spates to boom. I'm picking Spates as my lock. And I'm picking Spates to blow the crap out of the Killer Bees. The one good news is he's got a fully stacked condiments jar somewhere for the weekend to soak his wounds. So I'm taking Spates. Rodgers owns Chicago. Good chance to get back on track. If Pittman doesn't play, I like his plug-and plays with Renfrow and or Lazard this week for a stack. And I think Henderson lengthens out his lineup by being the main guy in the Rams. So I'm taking Spates.
Case, if you were going to make a condiment jar and mix the condiments together, what 3 condiments do you think would go together best?
I got to mix.
They come out together.
Oh, geez, I don't know.
I feel like the answer is very obvious. Personally.
Well, I remember when I was a kid, I used to mix
You want my answer?
mustard and ketchup together, and it made like an orange thing that was quite tasty.
Of course. Now imagine what 3rd thing.
Barbecue sauce.
Mayo.
Man.
Steve, the way you painted the picture, you made it seem like D'Darian had no chance. Give me the case for D'Darian having a chance to overcome a fast start Spates. I got you 2 confused. A fast start from Spates and the boom ability of his team, and then make your pick when you do that. Give me the D'Darian case.
I'm Case.
Aaron Rodgers gets hurt in the first quarter. Christian McCaffrey blows out his hamstring in the second quarter. I mean, other than an injury to Spates, I don't see how it happens.
Wow, that's aggressive.
CJ is my boom. CJ's my boom and my
Wow.
lock.
No chances. No chances.
Ooh, is it triple boom?
Quadruple boom.
Wow, you going with it too?
Yeah, I said it right away.
You got that's back-to-back booms for Spates for Coeli.
I've liked his team. So I think that for me, I do actually think there is a case for D'Darian. And to me, ETN and Williams are the keys. I agree with that, Divitto. And I agree with also like the fact that they're both pass-catching running backs. I think there is a world. I think the Rams will win big if they decide to get Robinson involved early and he gets a lot of catches. Again, there's a ton of ifs in this statement. But if you're telling me it's Monday night and there's an 8:30 game and D'Darian's down 25, you don't think Spates is going to be petrified about having Jalen Hurts as the last guy on the roster? I'll take Spates. He's my boom. I do think there's a path for D'Darian. I'd love if he showed up this week for the rest of the league, but I'll take Spates. Looks like we have a quadruple boom, and a quadruple pick.
I think it would be effective, Pete, for you to use the South Park thing right now as Christian's reaction. to the
Yeah,
rest of
he'd be
us.
like,
Oh yeah? Well, screw you guys. I'm going home.
How would you like to suck my balls?
oh,
come on.
we got to do a
Nice.
rating.
Does that work on this thing too?
It's where you publish it.
Oh,
Don't make me have to bleep you.
it's my favorite
All
comic.
right.
man.
All right, last game of the week, friends. Very boring one. There's always the boring game of the week. It typically has either Breen or Lloyd in it. This week, we got both. It was not a double negative, though. So Breen and Lloyd, 5th game to preview. Boring game of the week. Pete, let's hear the preview.
Breeny 7-3 against the Ross Lloyd combination in the last 5 years. Their last game was an ugly 117-77 win for Breen in Week 13. That was Breen's last win of 2021. He went on to lose to Kaleli and Casey to get knocked out of the playoffs after that. But in the series, Breen has won 2 straight. He could become the first person to beat Lloyd 3 times. So good for you, Kevin. Breen finished second in the boom last week with 176 points, largely because of Patrick Mahomes, who scored 40 points on 5 touchdowns against Arizona. Mahomes hit 40 points only 1 time last year. It was Week 10, and it was on Breen's bench. So I'm going to pick Breen. I'm going to make him my lock and my blowout.
I didn't do a blowout.
Matter.
All right, thanks, Pete. You told me not to.
I don't care. We don't have to keep either.
I'm kind of making it up as I go along anyway. Steve, speaking of making it up as you go along, I can't say that about you. Get those sticky notes ready, buddy. Give me your top 3 key matchups. Lloyd, Breen, and I want to hear if Mike Evans' Q is a big Q or a lowercase q. Go ahead.
Ooh.
So a calf injury. It was described this week as minor. So I think this is a case for him. Like
Dramatic
tomorrow,
pause.
it's a day off.
Good one.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point. The problem that Breeny is going to have, if indeed Evans is out, who does he play? Now, Pete, you live in the Baltimore area. What is the word on Dobbins?
It sounds like he's going to be active.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the last I heard, was that he was trending in the right direction, might be active, but it was going to be a game time decision. Why? What did you hear?
No, I heard the same thing. I read today that he was a full participant in practice.
Yeah, I heard he's all right.
So it's trending in the right direction.
Yep.
All right, here are my 3. Let's start with Lloyd. Michael Carter. I actually like that considering what happened with him in the first week. I like that move a lot, putting him in. Kyle Pitts has got to have a bounce back. And London, England. Problem with him is that he's going to be going up against Jalen Ramsey, and as a rookie, that's going to be a really tough matchup for Lloyd.
I'm sorry, come again?
Who's London, England?
His rookie.
Trey London. It's not Trey.
Drake London.
Isn't it Drake?
Drake London.
Hence the D. Hence the D
London?
in front of his name.
Shut up, Brian.
For Breeny. So for Kevin Breen, Dameon Pierce has got to have a better week. Tough against Denver, though. Tough sledding. Jalen Waddle, another matchup with Baltimore and Miami.
Don't make me do it.
And Michael Thomas, can he do the same thing again this week?
Didn't Jalen Ramsey give up a
Sled.
perfect quarterback rating against him last week? 158.3?
No.
No, he did.
Steve, I'm loving this edition.
Yeah, I like Steve's segment. It's pretty nice.
I think this is great.
We got to get a 24 clock behind him, like a beep.
Pitch clock.
Case,
Pitch
we ready?
clock.
We ready? Case, let's get your analysis. You are now easily the least prepared guy in this
20
podcast.
Yeah, Casey,
Brian.
you need a
Let's hear what you have to say.
I mean, I prepared. I just don't. we already talked
All
about
right,
it.
let's hear it.
I tried.
Show us what
I
you
tried the
prepared.
picks.
Cool.
Did
Runner
did anybody see Josh Allen's projected points? Not that projected points are the big thing. Over 30. Is that a record?
Wow.
No.
It's got to be.
I don't know.
It's got to be a
pretty
record.
No.
And if it is, how is Breeny only projected to score 131 points?
Well, he didn't play.
I know that, but Patrick's also 29.64 projected, so it's really 133 versus. So my point is that after those two, I think this game's close, and tons of roster moves for Lloyd. Week 1 to week 2, the most roster turnover of anybody in the league in terms of guys in and out. Right. I'm taking Lloyd in the upset. This is my upset. I think it's going to come down to Miles Sanders on Monday night, and I think he's going to have enough in that run-first offense to get it done. I'm taking Lloyd in the upset.
Wow. Good for you.
Initially, I did my picks, and I didn't have an upset. On paper, Breen's team is better, but to follow the rules of it, I feel like Case and I are like 5 for 5 together. I'm going 1-4 this week.
We're not.
Lloyd is also my upset. I think Lloyd's roster had a couple of bad breaks last week. I think he's trying to figure out his team. I see a big game for Pitts. I really like having Miles Sanders on Monday night. Case, excellent point.
It's like we were prepared.
And I just don't love Breen's team. I can't imagine Breen's team does the same thing again. I don't think there's a world Micah Thomas can score 2 touchdowns again. I think that's a pretty low-scoring game. Having Mahomes on TV, I think he just threw another touchdown, so I try not to be swayed by that. But I'll take Lloyd in the upset. I hope Lloyd gets on the leaderboard. Steve, last pick of the night, buddy.
I have Kevin.
You have Kevin. You and Pete back together again. How's it feel?
It's wonderful.
Reunited, it feels so good.
So, Case, give us a recap on our picks. On Game of the Week, Kaleli and DeLuca.
On the Game of the Week, Kaleli versus DeLuca. DeVito is lone DeLuca. The three of us have Kaleli.
Sorry, Steve.
In the DeVito versus Case matchup, we have a clean sweep. Everybody's on the DeVito train. In the Innis versus DeVito battle of the trade, we have Kaleli on DeVito as his lock. We have DeVito on DeVito. And we have and DeLuca and I are on Innis, with DeLuca having Innis as his upset pick of the week. We have a Spates sweep and a Spates boom sweep, and then we have a split in the Breen versus Lloyd matchup, with both Chloe and I taking Lloyd as the upset.
So we've got a Spates boom sweep. You and I are upsets with Lloyd.
Yep. We have sweeps between DeVita and Spates. Everything else is a split.
All right. I'm down.
What do we have for the superlatives? We all have Spates booming.
I have Spates as a boom lock. Lloyd is the upset. DeVito has Spates as a boom and lock, and DeLuca as an upset. DeLuca has Spates as a boom, Innis as the upset, Breen as the lock. Kaleli has DeVito lock, Spates boom, Lloyd upset.
Love it.
And I think everybody picked that Christian would get blown out. He's the blowy this week.
Oh, why?
Pete told us not to.
We're not allowed to say that?
Well, he wasn't on the pre-production meeting. The guy's having scotch, swearing. What do you expect?
You got there too late.
You moved down the power rankings, Case. Pete, I'll give you the final word. Take us home.
Number one, baby. Your number one loss coming this week. Even though I don't.
If anybody beats me, I hope it's you. Good luck this weekend, everybody. See you next week.